In this video, I'm going to show you how to connect a button in Tinkercad the easy way, so you can build a working circuit without getting confused by the 4 pins. This is one of the most common beginner questions, because the push button looks simple, but the pin layout can be a little tricky at first. Once you understand how the pins work, it becomes very easy to wire correctly every time. If this tutorial helps you out, make sure to hit like and subscribe for more Tinkercad and electronics tutorials. Alright, let's get into it. First, let's understand the button itself. In Tinkercad, the standard push button has 4 pins, but those pins are not all separate. They work in pairs. The 2 pins on one side are already connected to each other internally, and the 2 pins on the other side are connected to each other internally as well. So think of the button like 2 separate rails. When the button is not pressed, those 2 sides are not connected together. But when you press the button, the connection bridges across the middle, and electricity can flow from one side to the other. That is the key idea you need to remember. The button does not behave like 4 individual pins. It behaves like 2 paired sides that only connect when pressed. Now let's talk about the pin layout. If you look closely at the button, you will see 2 pins on the left and 2 pins on the right, or depending on how you place it, 2 pins on the top and 2 on the bottom. The important thing is this. One side is always connected internally, and the opposite side is connected internally too. So if you wire one pin on the left side and another pin on the same left side, nothing will switch because those pins are already connected all the time. To make the button actually work as a switch, you need to use pins from opposite sides. One of the best ways to wire it is the diagonal method. This is especially useful if you are not using a breadboard. The reason it works so well is because it forces the circuit to pass through the button properly. Here's how to do it. Start by placing your button in the Tinkercad workspace. Then connect your positive power source, such as the positive terminal of a battery or power rail, to the top left pin of the button. After that, take another wire from the bottom right pin of the button and connect it to the part of your circuit you want to control, such as a resistor and LED. Then complete the circuit by connecting the other side of the LED back to the negative terminal of the battery or ground. That diagonal connection is very important because it makes sure the current has to travel across the button when you press it. If you connect pins on the same side, the circuit may act like it is always on, which is a common beginner mistake. Now let's go over the breadboard method, because this is how many people build their Tinkercad circuits. If you are using a breadboard, the button should be placed directly across the center gap, also called the trench. This is where the button is designed to sit. 2 pins should go into the top half of the breadboard, and the other 2 pins should go into the bottom half. That way, the 2 sides of the button stay separated until you press it. Once the button is in place, connect your positive rail to the side of the button you want as input. Then connect the output side of the button to your resistor, and from there to your LED. After that, connect the LED's negative side, also called the cathode, to the negative rail. This gives you a complete circuit that only turns on when the button is pressed. If you want a simple test circuit, this is a great setup to try. Add a battery, a push button, a resistor, and an LED. Then start the simulation. At first, the LED should stay off. That means your button is not being pressed, so the circuit is open. Now click and hold the button with your mouse. As long as you hold it down, the LED should turn on. When you release the button, the LED should turn off again. That is exactly how a push button should behave in Tinkercad. If your LED stays on all the time, don't worry. That usually means you connected the wrong pins together. Most likely you wired 2 pins from the same side of the button instead of wiring across opposite sides. The fix is simple. Move one of the wires to the other side of the button so the circuit has to pass through the internal switch. Once you do that, the button will work correctly. A good way to remember this is to think of the button as 2 separate sides that only meet when pressed. If you understand that, you can connect it in almost any project, whether you are controlling an LED, triggering an input, or building a more advanced Arduino circuit in Tinkercad. So to recap, the button has 4 pins, but they work as 2 pairs. Use opposite sides, not the same side. For no breadboard wiring, use the diagonal method. For a breadboard, place the button across the center gap. Then test your circuit in simulation, and make sure the LED only turns on when the button is pressed. If this video helped you, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more easy Tinkercad tutorials. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.